In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast, it is part 2 of our rookie preview. James is back again. He's going to share his thoughts on the rookies from the 2023 NBA draft class. In the first episode, we covered the first 5 picks. And in this episode, we cover the first 5 picks and a little bit of Cam Whitmore and a little bit of Chet. But in this episode, we're going to try to cover the rest of the first round, or at least the rookies that we think are going to be able to make an impact. So stay tuned to hear James's thoughts on Cason Wallace, Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, what's his role, and also Jarace Walker. Stay tuned. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. We would like you to like, share, subscribe, comment. That is the best way for us to grow the channel. And if you missed the last episode, James is officially part of the Locked On team. Again, we don't have a chain to give him, a Locked On chain. I got a t-shirt somewhere I can give him a Locked On t-shirt. But James is official like a referee in a whistle on the Locked On team. So you're going to hear a lot more of James's draft takes and college basketball and NBA takes throughout the season. I'm looking forward to it because basketball season is here. It's finally here.
Yes.
NCAA starts in about a week and a half, whatever. The NBA officially kicked off last night, but the season really starts for a lot of the teams tonight. So, like I said, in the last episode, we covered picks 1 through 5. I mean, it's hard not to talk about Victor Wembanyama for a whole segment.
Right.
But before we get into 2023, let's talk about a guy that is from the 2022 class that is going to be a rookie this year, Chet Holmgren. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that they think this Rookie of the Year race is going to be between Chet and Victor. Do you think it's a two-man race? I mean, it's really early, but do you think it's a two-man race going into the season?
Yes, and it's only going to be a two-man race.
All right, so why do you feel like it's only going to be a two-man race?
Talent, opportunity, circumstance.
Well, that right there alone benefits Scoot Henderson. He's probably going to have the ball in his hands the most.
But, no, he's not going to have the ball in his hands more than Wembanyama.
But Victor's going to have somebody get him the ball. Scoot is going to have the ball. He's going to be like the quarterback.
But I don't think Scoot is going to be – he's not going to be as productive as Wembanyama on a bad team. And Chet is going to play for a good team and going to be productive. So it's going to come – to me, it's going to come down to those two. Unless Scoot averages like 20.
I think he's going to – I mean, I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I definitely think he's going to have the most opportunity because he's like the quarterback. The ball's going to be in his hands the absolute most, and he doesn't have anybody that's supposed to get him the ball. He's going to get it a lot.
Yeah, I just feel like if Oklahoma City is as good as everybody thinks they're going to be, which is a top 6 team, Chet's going to be playing with what ESPN thinks is a top 10 player. Like, they're trending upward. Yep. And if Chet fulfills the white KG prophecy,
oh man,
hey man, look, I
didn't see KG. I mean, people probably think I'm crazy. I saw Marcus Camby.
He's got more scoring than Marcus Camby.
I know, but Marcus Camby in college showed a lot more skill. But then it's like when he got to the NBA, he turned into Tyson Chandler. Or Tyson Chandler
became him because he's.
Well, Tyson Chandler was the guy that showed a lot more skill. So I think that he showed a lot more skill in high school than he did in the NBA. I don't think that Chet is going to just settle into like a defender, but I think like Marcus Camby with a jump shot that can handle a little bit better. But Marcus Camby, if you're old enough to remember, he kicked Tim Duncan's butt in a game is like in 95. I know half the listeners probably weren't even born yet. But Marcus Camby in college was handling the ball, bringing the ball up the floor. But I think the NBA wasn't going to allow him to do that back then.
Let me tell you about this white KG prophecy, though. All right, so look, in pick and roll, at the top of the key with 2 great playmakers, in Giddey and SGA, he's going to get wide open looks at the top of the key. All right, again, it's preseason. I don't expect that to translate completely over but he shot 50% from three.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of wide open.
So he's going to get wide open looks.
And he can close out.
So he can attack a closeout.
Yeah.
He can spin off the closeout.
I think they're going to start sitting on that spin.
That's fine.
Him and Victor, I think there are two things that you're going to start seeing early is that teams are going to start sitting on that spin. They both like to drive.
Drive right, spin left.
Yeah.
But Chet finishes with the left,
Yeah.
right? He can attack. And I saw Chet shoot a couple push shots when the lane was already clogged up. He shot a couple of floaters. I believe in his offensive ability. Again, are they going to ask him to be, a high usage guy? They're not going to run the offense through him. No, but he's going to get every opportunity to catch lobs, right? He's going to get every opportunity to shoot open shots because those other two guys are going to attract so much attention. So I can see him scoring 15 to 16 a game, couple blocks, 8-9 rebounds, and again, white KG because I think Chet has that dog in him.
Yeah, but KG had a different.
It's a different again.
But Chet is going to shoot more threes than Garnett.
But hear me out though. So again, there might be a little bit of beef between him and Wembanyama. Right? It might be manufactured, but he wasn't
Well, I think it's if I'm seeing it from Chet's point of view, it's like everybody's talking about this guy is the next.
But that's
what about me?
What about me? All right. Again, shout out to Clint Parks. I saw Chet tweet him a couple years ago saying like, "Yo, I'm not ducking Paolo. I got this, that going on." Chet was like, "Yo, man, stay out my business," in so many words. Like for him at 18 to be calling out, a grown man like that, like that's a chip.
He got to grow a mustache.
He does have to grow a mustache.
Looks like Abe Lincoln with the beard and the no mustache.
But you know what? It takes
that'll make him even tougher.
It takes some onions to go out here and rock a beard with no mustache. I wouldn't do it, but I mean, you got to have a certain level of confidence. And shout out to Clint Parks, you do your thing out there. But
that's my guy. Even though I've never met him, but that's
I see him on Twitter. I 100% respect, but I respect Chet for like, yo, man, you're not about to be just like talking to me like that. Like,
he's got a competitive fire. He's got
an edge. So like, I believe he is in the best opportunity of everyone because his skill set fits exactly what that team needs, and he's already really good. I hope he's able to hold up the whole year because he's a skeleton. But I'm a big believer in Chet. I think he's in a great spot. I feel like if Oklahoma City, the hype is going to be for Wemby, obviously. Mm-hmm. But if Oklahoma City gets like home court somehow, somebody's going to give him some Rookie of the Year votes if he plays up to that level.
So is it going to be like Melo, LeBron, where they had already gave it to LeBron because it was LeBron, but Melo
made it tough.
They made it to the playoffs.
Yes, they made it to the playoffs
his rookie year. But that was Melo's team. This is not going to be Chet's team. So there is a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference. But again, it's going to be hard to turn the blind eye, especially if Oklahoma City goes from a play-in team to home court. And the biggest addition to that would be Chet.
And I mean, of course, the growth.
Yes. But like their biggest hole last year was interior. And Chet is going to fill that void. And like I said, he's really, really good.
All right, before we go to break, Victor averages 18, 7.
21.
Well, I'm just throwing out numbers. 8. So you think he's going to average 21?
Yeah, he's going to average 21.
All right, so let's say Victor averages 21 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, a steal, and the Spurs win 33 games.
Okay.
And let's say Chet averages 14, 8, 1.5 blocks, and the Thunder win 48 games. Who wins Rookie of the Year?
It's going to be Wembanyama because it's going to be...
So you think they've just given it?
They're going to give it to him, and it's going to be some stuff that you haven't seen before. It's going to pass the eye. Right. But it's going to pass.
But Chet's done some crazy things too.
Yeah, but it's going to be like historical alien type stuff.
That Euro step from the free throw line.
Yeah, it's going to be stuff like that too. But all right, we can't not give it to Wemby. But I'm just saying Chet's going to get some votes too.
All right, when we return, we'll talk about Jarace Walker, Bilal Coulibaly. We'll talk about Anthony Black. I mean, there's so many guys that we got to cover in the next 2 segments. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Prize Picks, because Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players. Basically, you just predict whether they will score more or less than the Prize Picks projections. You're not playing against anybody. It's just you versus the projections. I know James is big on Prize Picks. He mentioned that he had a situation where you put in, 7?
Man, I done turned 7 into 175, then turned 5 into 125 a few times, hitting 25x. We'll try to do the same thing tonight with it being opening night. So,
So give me an example of some of the options that you've chosen for tonight's games.
All right, so for tonight, they got Wembanyama at 18 points, picking more or less. And they play the Mavs. Mavs not going to play too much defense. That should be an easy over for me. So it's building around him and other guys. It's going to be the issue. I think Kyle Kuzma's going to hit his projection. So I'm just, it's early. Injury reports still need to come out, but I feel like Wembanyama is going to be a lock for me at 18 points, over 18 points per game. 18 points tonight, excuse me.
So if you want to get in on it, go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba. Again, prizepicks.com/lockedonnba. You can get a match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/lockedonnba. All right, second segment. Let's talk about the 6th pick in the draft.
Okay.
Orlando Magic selected Anthony Black.
All right.
Not the ideal situation, in my opinion, for Anthony Black. I mean, there was a couple of teams, with the Thunder being one, the Magic being another, and the Atlanta Hawks. Those were 3 teams that if I'm an agent or rookie, I'm like, please do not send me to those teams, especially if I'm playing the wing or in the backcourt. I mean, Chet's situation, there's a hole there for him.
Right.
But if you're a wing or guard, I would not want to go to the Thunder. I wouldn't want to go to the Hawks. And it's not a knock on the Hawks organization. I just feel like there's not a clear path for playing time there. And I look at Orlando, there's not a clear path to playing time. Like, the team is going to have to make room for you. And I feel like that's the situation with Anthony Black.
Right.
What were your thoughts on Anthony in the preseason, and where do you see him fitting with Orlando based off the way the roster is constructed as of today?
Man, when I looked and I thought about it, he might be in the worst situation today.
I'd say between him and another Dallas guy, maybe Kaysen.
I disagree with Casey, but I think Anthony Black might be in the worst situation as far as where do I carve out minutes. All right, so they got Fultz. Yep. They just extended Cole Anthony.
I think his deal is 3 years, $39 million. I think that makes him.
Yeah, he's
so movable.
But we talking about
it's what do you get in return?
Yeah, but
more draft picks?
Today they got Fultz, they got Anthony, they got Suggs. Who, what do you think about Suggs? Whether you think he is or whatever, he's averaging double figures for his career. Now the splits aren't good, but he's been productive in the time. It's just his splits are ugly. So and then that's just at the point guard position. Now we can say Cole Anthony is a combo. That's fine, but you still
Suggs is
you can say Suggs is a combo.
More so leaning towards 1 than 2,
right.
But
and so then you still got, they're gonna end up trading, I think, Gary Harris, unless they just want to keep him around as the OG, and I get that and I respect that. But then Orlando turned around and they drafted Jett Howard, and Jamal Mosley might play Franz at the 2 at times, and then they brought in another OG, Joe Ingles. So it's where does Anthony Black, who has to play probably with the ball in his hands because he's not a shooter right now, where does he find minutes? And I think it's going to be tough for him. And again, like I talked about with the Thompson twins, I'm trying to work on my jumper, and but when do I have opportunities to get game reps if we're so heavy at my position?
So do you think, this is just based off your opinion, coming into the season, which starts today for most teams, do you think Anthony Black is in the Orlando Magics, and you can even throw Jett in here. Do you think Jett Howard and Anthony Black, their 2 lottery picks, are in Orlando's 8-man rotation on opening night?
I don't think so. And what's crazy is like, okay, so Orlando, you got 2 lottery picks, but they were like close at the end of the year to a play-in team.
And if they didn't get off to that horrible start.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, at one point, they had so many injuries at the beginning of last year. I think they would have been close to a playoff team.
So you got to think like, we're not just trying to develop guys right now.
I think they still are. I think,
but we still
big
want
picture.
It's a big picture, but we still want to win. Like Paolo is ready, Franz is ready. I'm still a big believer in Fultz in his game. Like they have guys, they have the talent, especially with the East kind of being really really top heavy right now. Like I don't know how those guys crack the rotation. Now, Anthony Black is a very good defender, so maybe there are some minutes for him there, but ultimately, like, he just can't shoot right now, man, and it's going to be tough. And like I said, I wish the best for him, but, like, that situation is just going to be tough. And you got to think, like, I don't know if you had that comparison, but if it's fair to say Anthony Black's game kind of resembles Josh Giddey, right? Big point guard, can handle. I mean, they got different, strengths and weaknesses. But like Josh Giddey got to play 30 minutes a game as a rookie.
He got the keys.
He had the keys, even with
somewhat
playing
of the keys. But yeah,
but he got to play 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So he got to figure out like, okay, yeah, I can't really shoot, but I'm gonna take these shots. I'm gonna figure it out.
And they're letting him post up.
And they're letting him, yeah, exactly. Whereas Anthony Black, like, you might come in there and play the 3 for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And if you're playing with Fultz, like, how does that work with spacing? You're gonna have to be a cutter or a dunker. So I don't know. I don't know. That's gonna be tough. And ultimately, I think Orlando's gonna make a decision on those 3-point guards because you just don't draft Anthony Black just to draft him. I mean, I get it. You're in the asset acquisition, part, but somebody's gonna have to get out of town, and I don't know who
even
it
if
is.
you get rid of one.
Exactly.
Still got it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Bilal Coulibaly.
Okay.
Bilal is a player that a lot of people were shocked to see him go so high. He was drafted at 7 by Indiana, then they flip-flopped the picks with Jarace Walker. But Bilal was playing for the Washington Wizards. Mm-hmm. He had some moments in the preseason where you're like, dang, this kid could be a special defender. One of the things I really like about Bilal is he's basically new to like the fame and the attention. He still has this hunger. Like he goes out there and he defends like I'm not a lottery pick in a sense. He has like the mindset and as a defender of like, I got to defend my butt off to stay on the court.
Yeah, he's not too cool for it.
He's not too cool. And so, but he had to do that last year to earn minutes, and he's brought that mentality there. So he's brought the mentality to the NBA. Some of the flashes on defense, I mean, whether it's the shot blocking, the ability to like...
He had like 3 or 4 steals.
Stay in front of guys. But the way he moves, like his fluidity is crazy. Like he moves effortlessly. Do you see him carving out a decent role with the Wizards this year? I mean, they got Kispert. They just paid Avdia.
Yeah, but look, absolutely. Because look, if you're going to play Poole and you're going to play Kuzma, you're going to need a defender out there to go with those guys. And I feel like if not, he may not start tonight, but eventually he'll crack that starting rotation, or he'll be, like we talked about Orlando, he'll be one of the top 8 guys. Because you got to think Denny is a great defender too, but Denny's still kind of like limited on offense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
they're going to start.
They'll start Tyus, Poole, probably Denny, Kuzma, and Gafford.
Yep.
Right? And then you got your wings off the bench. You'll be Kispert and Bilal. And then they'll have DeLon right out there too.
Man, I hope my man Ryan Rollins gets an opportunity. I thought
he might, because you got to think like DeLon.
Fat about Johnny Davis.
He's hurt right now, but
even if he wasn't
hurt, I mean, he's not. Who knows what's going to happen with him in his career as far as like being able to stick, because he just hasn't really shown too much. But I feel like Bilal's in a good situation, and again, unlike Orlando, he's going to get every opportunity to get on the floor, to fail, figure out what he can do, what he can't do, because the minutes are going to be there. They're not in the Wizards aren't in like, oh, let's go for the playoff mode right now. Like they're just like, hey man, we got some guys. Let's see what we got. Let's see if Jordan Poole is what Jeff Teague thinks is the next James Harden, and we'll go from there.
All right, when we return, we want to talk about Jarace Walker, who was selected number 8, Taylor Hendricks, and Keyonte George playing for the Jazz. Even though Hendricks was the 9th pick and Keyonte was number 16, I think that, and it's going to be obvious that Keyonte is going to get more opportunities there. I don't even know where Taylor Hendricks fits in on Utah's roster right now. And then we've already talked about Jett Howard. Then we're going to talk about Cason Wallace and Dereck Lively. Stay tuned. All right, last segment. Jarace Walker.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Walker, and what do you think his opportunities are going to look like? Because right now, I feel like he's going to be playing behind Obi Toppin.
Sticks, which is Jalen Smith. They just cashed out Aaron Nesmith.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they cashed him out.
For him, he got cashed out. Yeah.
What did he get, like 11?
333.
333. So that means that's less than the average NBA salary.
I get it, but they paid him for a reason. With that being said, it's like Jarace Walker 3/4.
Nah, I think he's more so a 4/5.
And he kind of puts the ball. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, he has more of an advantage putting the ball down as a 5. I think he can be your small.
Okay,
ball
but
5.
I don't. Okay, but if he's your small, I think he's a 4 because you got.
I mean, he's a 4, but I think like you can play him sometimes as a small ball 5.
But you got Miles, you got Sticks, and then they got Daniel Tice rolling around somewhere out there too. So like, I feel like your minutes are going to be at the 4.
Yeah, his minutes are definitely going to be at the 4.
But
I know he was probably like, "Dang man, how you going to draft me and then you trade for Obi Toppin?" Or was it Toppin first?
Either way,
you're like.
Either way. So again, and this is another young man who needs development, who isn't just a plug and play guy. He started off his first preseason game, shot the ball lights out.
Yeah, like 19 points or something like that.
I was like, oh shoot! And then he cooled back down a lot. Some bad misses. So again, is he going to get the opportunity to develop? Are the minutes going to be there for him to develop? And you got to think. That roster is good enough to compete for a play-in spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think in January last year before Halliburton got hurt, they were there. They were in the playoffs.
Right.
And we all thought like, oh, they're going to move Miles Turner. Then they ended up giving him that extension.
Money, yeah. They might move. Now, they may free up some space with Buddy. But even then, you still got Matthew.
That is, yeah.
And they just cashed out my man Bruce Brown. And who knows what position he even plays?
Ball player.
So it's like, will Jarace get the opportunities to develop on a crowded roster?
That seems to be the thing. And speaking of crowded roster and opportunities to develop, I think it's a long shot for Taylor Hendricks to play a lot this year. He was selected number 9 by the Utah Jazz. A lot of people in Dallas thought he was the guy in Dallas that they wanted. But I just do not see an opportunity for him or a clear path to playing time because they have John Collins at the 4, Lauri Markkanen at the 3. I think Markkanen and Collins, I don't know if there's going to be too many minutes where one of them is not on the floor.
Now, add that to, okay, you can still slide and say, we'll play Olynyk at the 4 some nights too. They still got my man Simone Fontecchio out of Italy, excuse me. He might play the 4 some nights too and shoot the 3.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like,
first Simone Fontecchio reference.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I'm a student of the game. He shoots 3s. So it's like, where are those minutes going to be? Yeah. Even if you say Olynyk is the backup 5, I mean, like, it's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real tough for him. I don't know if I like the John Collins trade. I think Markkanen, even though he played well at the 3, I think he's a 4. I would close with him at the 4. I'm just not a fan of that fit. And if I'm Taylor Hendricks, I'm definitely like, dog.
Salt Lake City Stars.
Right. And so it's like, dang, you just drafted a guy in the top 10 and you're going to put him in the G League, which I think it's not a bad thing, but I just think that it's tough.
It's tough, but
For a young player, let me finish this. I think it's tough for a young player to not look at it like it's a demotion.
Man, look, that's why
especially when guys that were drafted behind him, like Dereck Lively, I think is going to start and play 22, 3 minutes per game.
Everybody's situation isn't the same, and you know, as a young fella, man, look, I get it. But you got to understand, you got to think about your second contract. You got to think long term.
Yeah, but how do you think about your second contract when you like, man, how am I going to get minutes on my first?
So let's talk about Taylor Hendricks. He didn't look good out there in the preseason when he did play.
Yeah, he missed the whole summer. So maybe
exactly. Yes, and again, I'm not, I get all that, but he didn't look good. The game looked too fast, and his biggest asset, what got him drafted, was his shooting ability. He didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
So maybe the time in the G League is what's best for him. And again, let's not look at the G League as a demotion, no matter where you're picked at, because again, yes, you're a top 10 pick. Jordan Poole was a late first round pick. He went to the G League and ended up being, at times, the second most important player for Golden State on offense on a team that won a championship. He just got paid a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Now look at the opportunity that he is in now in D.C. So you just got to take it for what it is and look at it as an opportunity to get better. And you got to think, depending on how this Utah thing shakes out, maybe Olynyk gets traded. He's always he's always going to help a playoff team. Yeah. So those minutes free up. We don't know if they're not where they're supposed to be. Maybe they shut down Laurie. So again, I have it written down. My man Ochai last year, all right, he didn't get heavy minutes until January.
Yeah,
and that goes for Keontae too, because they have a log jam at the guard position as well.
They do. So, all right, let's talk about Keontae. Keontae had a phenomenal summer.
Yes,
a little bit up and down in the preseason. When are the Jazz going to say, all right, Colin Sexton, thank you. We're getting you out of here.
But it's not just him. So we got to tell Colin Sexton thank you. We're going to do a Jordan Clarkson. They still got THT.
Well, I think Clarkson probably has to stay because maybe Clarkson could be gone. Because I was just thinking that they don't have enough salary to reach the floor. But
they're running Collins, though.
And then Collins got paid marketing. So they should be fine.
Utah has, I just mentioned Ochai. Yep. Right? They got him. They have Clarkson. They have Sexton. They have THT. And they just signed Chris Dunn, who, hey, man, that dude
talking about a resurgence.
Yeah, that dude is productive when he's out there.
Right? He's really productive.
He's really productive. And they have holes at the point guard position. So, Keontae, you gonna have to, hey man, you have to thug it out until we figure this out.
No, I think the buzz that he had coming into the season was so high after the summer league that they're going to
find minutes.
They're going to give him minutes.
Where? How many minutes does he play tonight?
That I don't know, but I definitely think he plays. I think he's in their rotation.
Okay. Who's the odd man out? Ochai?
It's not like they drafted him, so I think
That's true. And so even when Ochai did play last year, when they kind of melded in some, he didn't shoot the ball as well as you would hope he would have as somebody who was billed as a shooter. And even, I forgot what the log jam, in the front court, I still remember. They still got Walker Kessler, man.
But we know he's going to start.
Yeah, we know he's going to start. So it's like they're heavy everywhere.
Yeah. Now we know that 3, 4, 5 is going to be Markkanen, Collins, and Walker Kessler. I always got to make sure that I say it slow. All right. We talked about Jett Howard. Let's talk about Cason Wallace. Where is Cason going to find minutes? I heard some people say they believe that he's eventually going to take Dort's minutes.
I think so.
So what does the Thunder do with Dort if that's the case? Do you trade him? And if you trade him, what do you trade him for? More picks?
Man, who knows? But here's the thing. Okay, so you said you don't see where do you feel like his minutes are? Cason in the rotation.
I don't know because I think they're going to play Micic.
Okay.
I think they're going to play him. Obviously, Giddey's going to play a lot. SGA is the dude.
Right.
I think Dort is. They just paid him $80 million a couple years ago, or what was that last year?
Yeah.
I mean, $80 million ain't $80 million like the same $80 million it was a few years back.
No.
I mean, that's like. I just don't know. Like, if you trade Dort, like again, what do you want? More picks? I don't know. I just don't like the situation for Kaysen. And again, I think last time I said that, somebody from the Thunder thought I was basically talking bad about OKC, because I made the comment like, dang, imagine being Kaysen and your hometown team, born in Dallas, and they sending you up I-35. But I just don't know if he's going to have the same amount of playing time as a guy like Dereck Lively, who is going to start tonight for the Mavs, and the Mavs are just all in on Dereck Lively being the center of the future.
But this is where Kaysen is different. All right. Two things. For one, he shot the ball well from three in Summer League.
Yep.
He shot the ball well from three in the preseason too.
Yep.
All right. Kaysen
is a ball player.
Kaysen has that Bruce Brown in a sense where we can plug him at different positions. So he's not just a point guard. Yeah. Right? So like there can be times where you can play Kaysen out there with SGA, Giddey, dark skinned Jalen Williams, and Chet. Right? Or you can play him. He can play alongside both your point guards.
He can play with any of those
guys because he cuts. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We know he's going to defend. And if that 3-ball holds up, I think he can crack that 8-9-man rotation because Isaiah Joe.
Hey, there's some teams that I feel like he should have signed Isaiah Joe.
He should have been. I don't think Philly should have just gave him away for one. Isaiah Joe has a burner, right?
But he always had one. Yeah. I liked him at Arkansas.
I feel like Kaysen jumps Trey Mann in the rotation.
Yeah, Trey Mann need to get out of there.
Yeah.
He just don't have the leverage to
that's not going to work for him.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Kaysen's going to crack the rotation because he is he's a basketball player. He doesn't have a position. He can play point guard, but I just think he's a basketball player. And like I said, if that 38% holds up, I don't know because he hasn't been shooting well from the foul line, man.
Which is weird. Like it was kind of like that early last season. Yeah, he had these crazy splits last year at the beginning of the season where he was shooting like 40% from three and 50% from the foul line. And I was waiting for the numbers to like meet somewhere in the middle. Man, we are running out of time here. All right, Grady Dick, do you think that he's going to have a significant role in the Raptors rotation? Like, I'll be honest, the Raptors are a team I just haven't paid a lot of attention to because it just feels like they just have a bunch of redundant skill sets.
Yeah.
So wait, all right, let's. Schroeder's going to be their one.
Yeah.
Who's their two? Is it Gary Trent?
I think so.
All right, so 3, you got to say OG.
No. Time out. Schroeder.
Yeah.
OG, Scotty, Pascal, Pirtle.
So who's the 2?
OG.
Okay.
He shoots 40% from 3, but right. I mean, and then you got 2 guys play with 3 playmakers out there, so it'll work. And then you got Trent off the bench, Otto Porter somewhere, Thad Young, so I think Boucher. So Grady Dick has a chance.
Precious, I'm a big Precious guy.
Grady Dick has
on his 3rd team is gonna make it.
Man, you gotta be loyal to your guys, man. But I think Grady Dick has a chance, but like
he has a defined role.
And it's gonna come down to him: is he making shots or is he not making shots? So he has a chance.
Does Jordan Hawkins crack the Pelicans 8-man rotation?
They got guys hurt. Trey Murphy's hurt right now. Najee Marshall's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So he has a chance, and Alvarado is hurt right now.
Yeah.
He has a chance. And with CJ being able to play whatever position he wants to play, 1 or 2, like they got 3 ball handlers, so he has a chance. But when those guys come back, that's Trey Murphy, and he got hurt too.
Yep.
So, but when Trey Murphy comes back,
Ingram can end up playing the point guard.
Yeah, and Zion's gonna play point guard too. But when Trey Murphy comes back, I don't see him cracking that rotation. Trey Murphy is cold.
All right, so we talked about a little bit Lively. And this will be the last player we discuss. There's so many guys that we can cover. Maybe we'll have to do a part 3. Dereck Lively is a guy that as soon as the Mavs ended up with the 10th pick, I thought they need to select Lively. He fits.
Right.
There's so many people that are like, oh, he only averaged 5 points a game, and he wasn't productive. I actually remember I did a radio hit in Dallas. I came on the radio because they were asking me what I thought about Lively. And then as soon as I left the station, the guy says, what's the difference between Dereck Lively and Moses Brown? So I was like, dang. And so, but yeah, so there were people that were really skeptical about it, taking a guy that averaged like 5 points a game and wasn't productive in college and so on. I think Lively is going to be good for Dallas. I think he has really good chemistry with Kyrie Irving right now.
Yeah.
He gives Dallas everything that they have lacked. I mean, he had 2 backwards dunks against the Pistons. The Mavericks have, and I live in Dallas and I've been going to Mavs games, but I can't think, when's the last time they had like an athletic center?
JaVale was he just long, but.
Yeah, but it's like they just didn't like JaVale, so he didn't,
Yeah.
But like, I mean, do you go to Chandler? Maybe like Sam Dallenberg, but he was at the end of his time. Sure. But I mean,
he
like
did the splits, man. He wasn't the same after that.
Yeah, that was one of the worst media day photos of all time. Even like the people in the picture, I forgot who.
Dirk was like, oh man,
right. I wish I would have seen the video. Did he just jump up and do the splits? Anyway, so I think Lively's going to help as far as just being a vertical lob threat, being athletic. I was at the press conference where when they brought in him, and Jason Kidd made the comment like, we gotta have some athletes this year. Years before the game, if you came into the game early, it was the layup line was a real layup line. This year we're gonna have some dunks. So, what is your prediction on Dereck Lively's rookie season for the Dallas Mavericks? Is he the 5 that they've been missing for the past? I mean, they've been starting Dwight Powell, who's only averaging like 4 rebounds per game.
Dwight Powell? I think he has an opportunity here in Dallas. And again, you can't ask for 2 better guys to play with if that's the kind of skill set you bring to the table. All right, you got Luka, amazing, and you got Kyrie.
Yeah.
So it's like the opportunities are going to be there. I don't see how he messes this up.
He's in a perfect situation.
Like, you couldn't ask for a better role.
Yeah, like, everybody wants to go high, but he's in a situation where the fit is perfect. He has an easy role, defend.
And dunk.
Be a live body.
Yeah.
Dunk everything around the rim. Vertical lob threat. Protect the paint. Run the floor. But one of the things that I liked that I saw in the preseason was, it was only a couple, but he made a couple touch shots around the rim. So it wasn't all dunks. I didn't see any of that at Duke. Now, I am a believer in his shooting. I think he is going to be able to space the floor somewhere down the line. But again, if you watch the game against the Pistons, he had a couple plays where he caught the ball and he made just the Rashawn Holmes touch shot around the rim.
He's here in Dallas too. You can go ahead and work on that with him.
Maybe he has. Yeah. But I think Lively's in a great situation. So what are the numbers that you think Dereck Lively puts up for Dallas this year?
Man, it should be like 8 and 8.
Is there a situation where you believe Dereck Lively can average 10 and 10?
I think that because he's a rookie, and then you still got Maxey, Maxey's a very good defender. There are going to be minutes for him. They may go small some nights and play Grant Williams. So I think like the minutes may kind of fluctuate.
Powell Mavs fans have been asking for him to be out of here for a long time.
And then, like you said, Rashawn Holmes.
I don't even think he's in there.
Does he have anything left in the tank?
He can't be that old where you think he's out of juice, but he just seems like he's their 5th big.
Yeah. I feel like 8 and 8, 10 and 10 might be situational.
I think if Hardaway Jr. is knocking down shots, Seth is always going to make shots in a Mavs uniform.
Yeah.
I think if those guys are just knocking down shots, then that means that lob is going to be wide.
Right. You're absolutely right. And then you got my man Jaden Hardy out here.
Yeah, I think he's...
Well, Tim doesn't know where his role is this year. He might be on the outs.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to play Tim over.
Do we got time to just briefly discuss one more person?
One more guy.
One more guy. He wasn't a first-round pick. I think he has a chance to crack a rotation.
Leonard Miller?
No, he's not going to crack the rotation. They got too many bigs. Emoni Bates.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Because check this out. He's going to leapfrog Okoro. Okoro can't shoot. I'm sorry. Right? Mm-hmm. They brought in Max Strus, but Max is, you know.
But they paid him a lot of money.
But we just talked about what is a lot of money.
Well, they gave him did he get 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave him.
Okay, but hold on now. But they gave him a lot of money.
Then they brought in Georges.
Yeah. But Georges is going to play the 4, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying at the 3 position, there might be minutes for Emoni Bates if he continues to shoot as well as he shot.
No, I can. On one hand, I can see it. On the other hand, I feel like the general manager could be like, "Hey, I just paid Max all this bread. I brought in Georgia. I gotta give these guys an opportunity to play because I paid them." I mean, that's
all that. Look, I get that.
Realistic.
It is realistic, but okay, you swung for the fences. And took a chance on Bates in the second round. Again, I'm not saying
they swung for the fences. He fell in their lap, man.
Hey, man, you still gotta make that pick.
But I mean, his talent was never the issue. I just think everybody was wondering, can he play a reduced role?
But okay, so far he has, and he's shooting the cover off the ball, and it's you find minutes for guys like that. And again, I'm not saying rookie of the year, none of that crazy stuff. But I feel like there might be 10 to 12 minutes a game for him there.
Yeah.
And he's shooting against the preseason. He shot 50% from the 3-point line in the preseason.
Yeah, no, he can shoot. I think he's going to be
6'9", he can shoot, and he still has that scores, or if he just keeps everything tame, I just feel like there's an opportunity for him to score. Because, I'm a big Caris LeVert fan, but Caris is probably the backup point guard right now. Is Rubio still there?
No, Rubio. From what I just left Spain. From what I hear, that he's probably done.
All right, cool. So
he's been a pro since he was 14.
Yeah, his knees is cooked. I get it.
And they just say he might be tired, man. He's been a pro since he's got a 20-year career.
He got LeBron mileage on him. Is what you're saying? But I'm just saying, I just feel like there might be minutes for Emoni Bates as a second-round pick on that team. That's something to be applauded.
Yep. Well, that wraps up this episode. There were so many guys we didn't get a chance to cover everybody. Once again, thank you, the listener, for making the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. Once again, thank you again for, how can I say this? For listening during the off season. Basketball season is here. If you've been listening during the offseason, that means you are a die-hard basketball fan and definitely a die-hard Locked On NBA Big Board fan. But basketball season is finally here. College basketball kicks off, I think, November 6th or 7th, something like that. The next few days, we're going to be talking about the NBA, but next week, college basketball previews and thoughts, and we're going to cover some of the guys in Europe. I mean, the cola topic is...
all right, we got to get to him.
So we'll talk about that. Once again, it's Rafael Barlowe, my brother James, and we are